2020 Lotus Evora GT. This one has, of course, been modified, but most of those modifications are going to be cosmetic. We're powered by the 2GR FE Toyota engine. That's a 3.5 liter supercharged V6, making 416 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. This one has the 6-speed manual. We, of course, have a Torsen LSD. It does have the optional carbon pack, which gives you front access panel, roof panel, one-piece louver tailgate with integrated spoiler, carbon rear bumper, etc., etc. We got the full mod list in the description, as always. With all the various lightweight and carbon fiber options added, we're weighing in around 3,100 pounds. We got double wishbone in all 4 corners, and he replaced the OEM lightweight forged aluminum wheels with these. These are Litespeed Racing custom 3-piece VR5 wheels wrapped in Michelin Cup 2 tires. We have 245 section width in the front and 295 in the rear. He's also done headers, mid-pipe, titanium exhaust, carbon fiber intake, and you're definitely going to hear that when we start driving. As for the interior, a few carbon bits here and there, as well as a short throw shifter. And she comes to life. I do like these seats already much more than my Evora. Got more lateral support, sit a little bit lower. All right. We're gonna ignore that. GPS connected. And we're gonna put this into sport mode. That's gonna raise the red line to about 7,200 RPM. Wow. Now, first impressions, you can instantly feel that the wheels are heavier here. That unsprung mass is greater compared to stock. You're getting a far more dampened steering response. Not as much feedback through the wheel, not as much communication and sharpness compared to what we know and love from Evora GTs. The short throw shifter, the owner said he hasn't set it up properly, so you do have this little bit of vagueness as you get into neutral. It's a little bit mushy going from neutral to the next gate, so you have to be mindful of that. The car to play with you with that mid-engine balance. Lift off mid-corner, get more weight on the front. Got to be careful though, the rear can really kick out. There we go, that's a proper heel toe. The issue that I have with the Evora GT is that the throttle response is so inconsistent. At lower rev ranges, you need to blip it so hard to get any kind of bump in the RPMs to properly match, whereas at higher RPMs it's far more sensitive, and it doesn't always seem consistent. We have AP Racing brakes, and I think the Amira as well comes with AP Racing brakes. In this instance, I'm not sure if he changed the pads or the fluid. It is a little bit softer at that initial bite. Lotus brakes have always been more gradual, right? It's not like the modern Porsche super firm at the initial travel. But here we have a little bit extra travel, more than I would like. Like right there. I thought, like, I blipped the throttle and yet nothing happened. That's that inconsistent throttle response. As for the exhaust mods, will have to decide yourself. I think it sounds good, it's just a little bit too loud for my old man ears. The Evora GT is one of my favorite cars. It's a little bit sharper, at least stock, compared to the Lotus Evora. And I think the way that the owner has modified this example, I think it takes it to shows, right? This is more of like a show car example rather than an example that is optimized for canyon carving like we're doing right now. Because again, the heavier wheels, that greater unsprung mass, doesn't do the driving dynamics any favors. It makes the whole car feel less agile, less responsive than a stock example. The steering as well, that's the part that I love the most about Lotuses, whether it's the Elise, which is a manual rack, the Evora, which is hydraulic, the Emira, which is also hydraulic. And we're following this 981 Boxster, which is somewhat of a competitor, more the Cayman and more the 718 based on the model year. Evora GTs on the market right now are right around $85,000, plus or minus a little bit, depending on the example. And I think the amount of car you get for that money is actually, it's a lot of car. The driving experience, the driving pleasure. And it's also unique. You see so many Boxsters and Caymans on the road, and for good reason. They're just built to a higher standard. They're far more practical, far more usable on a daily basis. But the Evora, the Lotus products as a whole, they have that little special X factor. They're more emotional, more engaging, more involving. The trade-off, though, to get that greater engagement and emotionality is that, you know, the build quality in the interior and the design is not going to be as modern and well put together as the Porsche offering. But Lotus does have that special factor that if you want a car more for a special occasion, weekend event rather than a daily driver, I think Lotus products as a whole are more special at the end of the day. But my friends, let me know what you think of this car with a comment down below. If you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalandcars.com, fill out the form on the homepage, and we'll be in touch.